Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing great, and it is Saturday. I am here with an exciting DIY. So I was going through the Urban Outfitters website just to see the stuff they have in for summer and also to feel bad about my life because I can't afford anything ever and I'm always broke. But I came across this Lissy smocked cropped tee that they're selling for $34. Well, first, I can't afford it, but even if I could afford it, this t-shirt is not $34 cute, okay? It's just a t-shirt with some smocking around the waist. It's super simple to make. You can make it from a t-shirt you already own. So instead of spending $34, let's save your coin and let me show you how to make this. So I'm going to start by marking how long I want my top to be. I'm also going to mark the area under my boob, and this is essentially where your smocking is going to start. And once you have that point marked out, you're ready for business. So all I'm doing now is I'm marking a straight line through the point I want my top to reach. I love a good crop top, but if you want your top longer, just make it longer. It's a DIY, so please feel free to customize it to your style. So once I had my line drawn through, I thought she was straight. Well, this is a very straight line according to my standards, so I was pleased with it. I just cut through that line to separate the top from her family, got rid of the bottom bit, and now we have a cute crop top. So we are done with this. I'm kidding, we have a lot to do. So you're going to turn your shirt inside out. It's now time to hem the bottom. That way she looks nice and neat and professional. So I'm just folding over a bit of fabric and pinning that in place. That way when it comes to sewing, my job is easy. Everything else in my life is currently super difficult. So if I can make it easy at any point in time, I do that. So I decided to pin before going to the sewing machine. But if you're confident, if your life is going great, then feel free to just freestyle this because baby girl, it sounds like you have luck on your side, and please share some of it with us. Anyway, so just fold over your fabric. This is just going to hide that cut edge that you don't need anyone seeing, just like all those cheeseburgers you take in your free time when you should be working out. No one needs to know this, okay? So just fold in your fabric once, pin it in place, and you're going to do this all around the bottom hem of your t-shirt. So once you're done pinning, you have a lot of pins and you're going to sew along the hem to hem it nicely and beautifully. And moving on to the sewing machine, I used a straight stitch for this, and this fabric is stretchy material, but if you do a zigzag stitch, it will create that lettuce kind of hem. And I wasn't really feeling the lettuce hem this day, so I decided to go with a straight stitch. It will also help if you have a ballpoint needle. It's going to make your hem look so much neater. I don't, so my shirt wasn't perfect, but hey, who's perfect? I accepted her as she was. I also made sure to backstitch at the end of my sewing so that my shirt would stay together, unlike all my relationships in my life currently. So once my hem was nice and done, I was pleased with her. It was now time to draw a line through the point under my boob. So I recommend doing this straight line because it will be your guide. It will be your light in your smocking journey. Just having that first straight line really helps you get into the motion of things, and you're going to do great. So I recommend doing this extra step, even if it feels unnecessary. Just trust me, it's going to be worth it. So I did this at both the front and the back of my t-shirt, and essentially we're just creating a line to follow as we're smocking, and you'll see how helpful that is in the next shot. So to smock or shirt, you need elastic thread, and the quality of your elastic thread really does matter. I recommend you use a thin thread. It's easier to work with. I will link this one down below. I highly recommend it. I got it off AliExpress. And when you're winding your bobbin, just do so as you would normal thread. Do not treat her special. Do not give her any exclusive treatment. Just throw her in the gutter with everyone else and she will perform. So just wind it as you would regular thread, and once your bobbin is full, place it into your bobbin case and snip off the excess thread once you've aligned the thread where it should go. And after snipping off your excess thread, make sure to replace your bobbin cover. You don't want to sew without it. So if you're new to smocking, I recommend you first try this on a scrap piece of fabric. You know how sometimes you have a test boyfriend before you get a real boyfriend. That way you know what to do with a real boyfriend. This is the same thing. Test first on a scrap piece of fabric, and once you're sure the threads won't mess up, especially elastic thread, she can be a bit of a bitch sometimes. So just make sure you really have her in her place and she knows what she's doing, so that when you come to smocking your actual fabric, you're not making any mistakes and messing it up, because that can be very frustrating. So what I'm basically doing is I'm just doing a straight stitch. At the beginning of my stitch, I did backstitch, and having thinner elastic thread allows you to backstitch, whereas some thick threads wouldn't allow you to do so, and you'd have to go back in and do a knot manually. So smocking is pretty straightforward. You just need to be really patient with yourself and your thread, especially if you don't seem to be getting it right. Do not get frustrated. It's just something that happens before you get the hang of it. I am smocking on the right side of the fabric, by the way. The right side is up. You want your upper thread to be on the top of your fabric and the elastic thread to be on the inside. That way it doesn't show. And as you can see, when I get to the end of my smocking, I do backstitch, and this just makes sure the stitches are secure and your elastic thread doesn't snap and come back to earth. And as you can see, the elastic thread gathers the fabric beautifully, and on the inside she looks nice and straight. Honestly, thin elastic thread is a game changer, trust me. So for the next line, I'm going to align the edge of my presser foot with the first line I just did, and this is important in making sure that your shirring will be the same width and it will look nice and neat. This is super easy to do. Just follow the first line. So just gently guide the fabric with your hands. Do not pull on it, do not tug her, do not put any pressure on her. Just let her be the woman she's meant to be, and she will be beautiful. All you have to do is just feed in the fabric and the machine will do everything else. So just take your time with this. It is very time consuming. I was here for an hour and a half just for 10 lines of smocking, and always backstitch when you get to the end. And as you can see, what you get is a beautiful effect, and the more lines you do, the more the gathering effect will be. On the inside, the lines are nice and straight and they just look beautiful. So this is a close-up shot of me sewing the lines, and as you can see, the edge of my presser foot is aligned with the previous line of smocking I just did, and all I'm doing is I'm gently guiding the fabric. I'm not doing anything to her that she doesn't consent to. It is 2020, we need consent, okay? You always need consent. So I'm just guiding her through, making sure she feels safe enough to just smock properly, and once I get to the end, I do my back stitching, and that's literally it. So you're going to be here a while. As I've said, 10 lines of smocking were enough for me. If you want a bit more lines, it's totally up to you, depending on the kind of effect you want. You do you, honey. I know a lot of people find smocking very frustrating, and it was for me too before I discovered this thin thread, because I used to smock with very thick thread and she would give me an actual headache. So thick thread just gets in your way. She doesn't like to be messed with. She doesn't like listening to people. So that's why I switched to a thin thread, and my life has been better since. So in case you've been failing at shirring, just try thinner thread and see how that goes. So this is after a few lines, and as you can see, the effect is really starting to come out and it looks super cute. On the inside, the lines are beautiful, they're straight, and we love them. So once I'd done my 10 lines of shirring, I actually counted the lines on the Urban Outfitters top. It also had 10 lines. I just folded in the sleeves, and this is to make it similar to the top we just saw. We're trying to make this a close dupe, okay? We want people to actually think we have money. So you can stitch the cuffs in place, so just leave them. I did do a hand stitch just to keep the sleeve bits up, and as you can see, the bottom has a lot of stretch. And by the way, I used a shirt in a size small for this project. You can use a bigger shirt if you want a bit of a baggier fit, but I wanted the cinching to be real, and this is the final result. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, I see why they're selling this top for $34. It's so cute and it's such a beautiful way to elevate such a simple t-shirt. But honey, nobody's got that kind of money. We're not selling kidneys and children to be making that kind of money to afford such expensive tops. So Urban Outfitters, you keep your $34 top. I'm going to be fine rocking my $5 one all summer long. And honestly guys, I really do love this t-shirt. Thank you Urban Outfitters for the idea. idea. I really hope you love this as well, and I hope you do try it. Even if you're intimidated by smocking, just try this one. It may just surprise you, just like that weird guy you never talked to, but then when you did, you became great friends, and maybe now he's your husband. Who knows? Life has a funny way of working out. Anyway, that's all you get from me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I thoroughly enjoyed your company as usual. You are an absolute pleasure. I hope to be seeing you in my next video, and kindly leave suggestions of any DIYs you'd like to see me try. I will try what I can, and what I can't, I will just nod my head in shame and move on to the next thing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for the support, and see you soon. Bye.